Hello. One of the most common calls I get relates to the loan contingency, and specifically a situation where a seller is upset because they don't believe the buyer has done everything the buyer can do to get the loan application approved. The question I get is whether or not the seller can ask for the deposit, claiming that the exercise of the loan contingency is a problem or is done improperly. So with that question coming up so regularly, I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. The place to start is with the implied good faith requirement that exists in every California contract. As you know, California law implies such a clause in every contract, regardless of what the contract itself says. And so when your parties are performing the RPA, they have to act in good faith. With regard to the loan contingency, that means a lot of different things. Specifically, there is a clause, paragraph 3K, which says that the seller is accepting the buyer's offer specifically because, in part, of the loan they said they were going to get. And it says that the seller doesn't have to cooperate with the buyer getting a loan other than that specified in the contract. So what that means is the terms of paragraph 3, where you identify the amount of the down payment, the interest rate you're willing to get, etc., define what is a good faith exercise of the loan contingency. And it means that the buyer must apply for that loan at a minimum. If they don't apply for that loan and they try to exercise their loan contingency, the seller can say that's bad faith and refuse to refund their deposit. Additionally, the contract says in 3J2 that if the buyer doesn't have an appraisal contingency and they try to use their loan contingency to get out, even though they're otherwise qualified for the loan, when the appraisal comes in short, they can't use the loan contingency. Again, if there's no appraisal, then a failure to appraise cannot justify use of the loan contingency. That would be bad faith. Those two are easy. It gets more complicated, though, in other instances. So, for example, what if the lender asks the buyer for a document that the buyer doesn't deliver to them? Or what if they delay in those documents? Or what if there's a simple condition of funding that is totally in the control of the buyer and the buyer doesn't perform? In that case, the seller still might believe that the buyer is acting in bad faith and refuse to give money back. Those obviously are more complicated because the term bad faith is subjective. And so what you need to do in that instance is advise your clients about this requirement, that they act in good faith. Talk about doing the easy things. And then if they insist that they want to use their loan contingency, or the seller who you represent insists they want to keep a deposit, you need to send both to their lawyers. These are legal questions and much more complicated, but remember, everybody's got to act in good faith at all times. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks a lot.